who are looking into this to try to get than the previous speaker. So when you put all of this together, it doesn't look like a coincidence to me. And I know that we have people, including the United States Secret Service, who are looking into this to try to get to the bottom of it. And if we find that these were UN staffers who were purposefully trying to literally trip up the president and the first lady of the United States, well, there better be accountability for those people. And I will personally see to it, Jesse.
Good. The president was blunt.
Ladies and gentlemen, what just happened at the United Nations has sparked one of the most heated debates in recent memory. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt has come forward, weighing in on reports that UN staffers were plotting to set up President Donald Trump. Her message is simple, but powerful. She says the president spoke truth to power, and that powerful globalist forces tried to silence him. Now let's walk through what she said, what really happened, and why this matters so much. In her interview, Karoline Leavitt wasted no time. She pointed directly at reports in the London Times that UN staffers had been plotting to embarrass the president. She called it outrageous, a scandal that must be investigated. She explained that if anyone inside the UN intentionally tampered with equipment, whether it was the escalator that suddenly stopped, or the teleprompter that mysteriously failed during Trump's speech, then those responsible must be fired and investigated immediately. Her tone was fiery. She wasn't asking politely. She was demanding accountability. Leavitt reminded viewers that this isn't just about glitches or malfunctions. It's about the idea that international institutions might have tried to undermine the President of the United States, right in front of the world stage. For her, that wasn't just a slip-up. It was a warning sign. Think about the scene. President Trump and First Lady Melania step onto the escalator at the UN headquarters. Suddenly, it grinds to a halt. The moment looked awkward. Cameras were rolling. Then, moments later, Trump's teleprompter failed. And to make things even stranger, the UN's main audio feed cut out, switching to a foreign language translation just as Trump was delivering key lines. For critics, these were just coincidences, glitches that happen at large events. But for Leavitt and the White House, it felt too perfect, too timed, too suspicious. She framed it as proof that powerful bureaucrats inside the UN wanted to make the president stumble. Yet, she said, Trump pushed through. He finished the speech. He didn't back down. And in her words, that was truth to power. Now here's the other side of the story. UN officials quickly denied any foul play. They said the escalator stopped because a safety sensor was triggered by someone ahead. They insisted the teleprompter wasn't even their responsibility. Usually it's maintained by the speaker's own team. And as for the audio feed, they blamed a technical glitch, not sabotage. So who's right? Was this a deliberate setup, or just an unfortunate series of malfunctions? The truth is, we don't know yet. The Secret Service has opened an investigation. They'll review security footage, system logs, and interview staff. But so far, there's no smoking gun. Still, the damage, or the opportunity, is already done. Leavitt's version of events turns a potentially embarrassing moment for Trump into a political weapon. Instead of headlines saying, Trump's speech derailed by glitches, the story becomes, globalists tried to sabotage the president, and he triumphed anyway. That's a powerful reframing. It takes what could have been weakness, and turns it into strength. And politically, that's exactly what the White House wants. By casting Trump as the underdog, the man who stands tall even when the system itself is stacked against him, Leavitt gives his supporters a story they want to hear. It fits perfectly into the narrative that Trump has been pushing for years, that he's fighting not just Democrats, not just the media, but massive international institutions that want to keep America in check. But let's pause and think. There are risks here too. If the investigation finds no proof of sabotage, if it shows that these were simply accidents, then the White House could look like it was peddling conspiracy theories. Critics will say Leavitt jumped to conclusions. They'll say she used paranoia to distract from the content of Trump's speech. And internationally, accusing the UN of sabotage could create serious diplomatic fallout. The United Nations is supposed to be neutral ground. If it's seen as hostile territory, if it's portrayed as plotting against a sitting U.S. president, that undermines its credibility on the world stage. And yet, for Trump's supporters, that may be the point. Leavitt's fiery defense fits perfectly into the broader playbook. We can trust in international bodies, build up the president as the lone defender of sovereignty, and present every obstacle as proof that he's shaking the system to its core. It's the story of David versus Goliath. The UN represents the faceless giant, and Trump, in their telling, is the lone warrior who dares to speak truth to power. That story resonates. It energizes the base, and it ensures that instead of laughing at Trump's technical misfortunes, his supporters see them as badges of honor. So here's the bigger picture. Whether or not sabotage is ever proven, Karoline Leavitt has ensured that Trump's speech at the UN will be remembered not for the words he spoke, but for the drama surrounding it. And in politics, perception often matters more than fact. She has reframed a stumble as a strike against the establishment. She has turned glitches into evidence of a plot. And she has told Trump's supporters exactly what they want to believe, that their president stands firm, even when powerful forces try to knock him down. That's the power of narrative. That's the power of spin. And that's why this story will continue to dominate headlines, long after the escalator has been reset, long after the teleprompter has been fixed, and long after the investigation delivers its verdict. Because in the end, this isn't just about an escalator. It's not just about a speech. It's about trust. Trust in institutions, trust in leaders, and trust in the stories that shape how we see the world. Karoline Leavitt has made her choice. She's telling a story of sabotage and courage. And now,